Hey guys, Joe Thorne here from Doctrine and Devotion. Before you get into the episode, I need to issue a correction, retraction, apology, that sort of a thing. We've had to do this on a couple of occasions, and this is when one of us will say something on the podcast that is sometimes misunderstood, and that's our fault for not communicating very clearly. Sometimes it's because we said something that was absolutely wrong and inaccurate, and we didn't know. And sometimes it's because we might have said something that was offensive, and we need to apologize for that. So it's never our intention to make those mistakes or cross those lines when they happen, but sometimes they do. And so here is another case. During this episode that you're about to listen to, we read some screenshots from a Facebook group. And one of these screenshots is a comment made by a man about a woman. And he says essentially that this woman has a horse face and is a whore. Regardless of the, intent behind it, whether he was joking or not. We found that in the broader context of this group to be very inappropriate. And we mistakenly attributed the target of that insult to Miss Aimee Byrd. Now, it has come to our attention after this episode was released that he was not targeting Aimee Byrd with that insult. He was not thinking of Aimee Byrd. Aimee Byrd had nothing to do with his comment, as best as we can understand. So we misread, misunderstood, jumped to the wrong conclusion. We were wrong in saying that this man said something horrible about Aimee Byrd. He did not. Certainly not in that screenshot, and we are sorry for making that mistake, and we will strive to do better, to be even more careful in reading and responding to and assessing what's out there on the interwebs, okay? So that did not happen. In fact, we've actually gone into this episode to remove that person's name who made the comment, simply because as this plays out over time, he should not have to deal with our mistake of attributing the wrong person to his insult. Okay? Now, I've had a number of people ask, well, hey, you're just saying that he said something bad about a woman and it wasn't Aimee Byrd. Shouldn't you also say who he was talking about? Because in their mind, that sort of justifies his word choice. He's talking about Stormy Daniels. If you don't know who Stormy Daniels is, she's probably most well known these days for having sex with the President of the United States. She was in the news about this. Donald J. Trump and her hooked up at some point. And I guess she was paid off, perhaps, allegedly, to be quiet about it. I don't know the details. But she's most famous for that. She is apparently a well-known porn star, stripper, writer, and director. But because of her, we'll say, sinful career in that world, some people have said to me that, that insult fully applies to her. And so you really need to be clear on that. And so here's what I would say. I do not believe that a Christian should ever refer to a lost sinner with such an insult, regardless of who they are or what they do. And the reason is because Jesus never speaks to lost sinners in that way. In fact, we can see Jesus interacting with all kinds of sinners that are in deep sin, even women in particular, and he doesn't insult them. The apostles, the same. There is a way to talk to and about lost people or people in their sin, and to refer to any woman made in God's image with that insult, I think is ungodly and inappropriate. So that is separate from what we have to say here, which is we were wrong in what we said about that comment and its target. But to answer the question that many of you do have for us, no, I still think the wording is wrong. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Please feel free to give us any pushback that you like. We respond to it. We take it very seriously. We want to get better. We want to do better, and we want to honor the Lord in all that we do. So let us know what you think after you listen to this episode. Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Doing it again, 2 times every week.
Nearly every week.
Yeah, pretty much every week.
Pretty much. I couldn't say every single, because there's been a couple times.
We've missed never a full week though. I think we've always banked enough episodes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think we missed one day that I can think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been pretty consistent since
until this end of the summer. Yeah, we'll be pretty consistent
until the end of the summer.
I might. Well, it depends on these travel restrictions.
Yeah.
I might be gone for a good month.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna let me call in?
We can either bank them. Figure something.
Or you're gonna have to learn to let me call in.
Yeah.
Joe hates the call in feature.
It just sounds terrible.
It sounds like someone called in. Yes.
Yeah. No, but it's not even that good. Like when we've done it, it's usually not been very good. It's not even sounded as good.
Why are you blaming me?
I'm not blaming you.
Why are you
blaming the technology?
We're trying to do. Well, then it is what it is.
Now Phil Holmes said that there's another one we need to try. Apparently.
Yeah, we've tried it though.
Did we try it?
Yeah, Zencaster.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one we had all kinds of timing issues with.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe it was the bad Wi-Fi we were using at the time, though.
You know what? That could be a huge part of it.
We get hardwire in because we got a nice long cord.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So we could try that.
Okay.
Either one. How's your day?
Good.
Oh, thank you for the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I figured, we got stuff to talk about, so it's good to have a cigar. It's been a while. So.
It has been a while.
Mm-hmm. And it's been
this is very good.
It's been at least 5 minutes since I've had a cigar, so
I know.
Yeah, got to get back to it.
I'm trying to think. When was the last cigar I had?
I don't know. Probably when we were together.
When was that?
I don't remember. But it would have been when we were together, probably. No. You took cigars home recently, so yeah, you smoked some at home because you sent me pictures.
I think Saturday I did.
Yeah, so that's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Getting your cigars in, I like that.
Doing what I can.
Now explain this to me. You've been working like crazy since 4 a.m., man. You've been working hard, doing your thing, getting it done. Heads have been rolling, money's been made, all that stuff that you like to do. Those areas of your giftedness.
The Lord has been glorified. Yes, all the things I love to do.
All of these things. Carnage and Christianity combined. It's awesome.
Did my devotion, prayed for an hour, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't pray for an hour.
Okay, but you came in and you didn't have time to eat.
Yeah.
You're like, and so you had Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. It was good. I get to Taco Bell. Everybody likes Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
And you got a burrito.
No, it was a Whole30 burrito.
What's that?
It is the right kind of burrito that when my wife hears this, she knows I did not cheat on the plan that we are on together.
Okay. I love these plans that you're on.
Yeah.
That you stick to so stringently.
Yeah, this whole
So my question is, my question is the Whole30 burrito that you have. Now, Taco Bell burritos are very small. They're not the size of a regular burrito.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, you ate half of the burrito.
Yeah.
Half of the Whole30 burrito.
Whole30 burrito.
And you put it away for later.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know who saves fast food for later, but okay. You're going to save for later. And I said, aren't you going to eat it? And you said, oh, no, I'm full.
Yeah.
What?
Because I don't feel like I don't feel like I need to stuff it,
It's a tiny little...
No, I'll wait till later and I'll
What's the difference between a Whole30 burrito and just a regular burrito at Taco Bell?
The difference is the lie I tell my wife.
Okay, that makes sense then. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure what the difference was, but that makes a whole lot of sense. Now, is it Whole30 about 30 days? Is that what the 30's for?
Yeah, we're not doing Whole30, but I couldn't think of...
But you're doing something?
We're doing something, yeah.
You know what I'm doing?
Nothing.
That's right.
I know.
That's what I'm doing.
I know.
Mm-hmm. But I'm down to 164.
That's good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I just said, man, I've been up since 4. I'm done. I got to.
And you know what's great though? Taco Bell gives you life.
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m. Taco Bell.
The light of it, I don't know. It's a warming.
Yeah, it's not Mexican food, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean it's passable.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, you wouldn't eat it if it wasn't good. You like it.
No, it was fast.
But you
Otherwise,
like it.
otherwise I would have went to Salsa Verde.
Yeah, but you could also have gone to McDonald's and gotten a whole 30 Big Mac.
I couldn't do. No, that's not the same.
No.
No, their whole 30 they're just not up there yet.
It's HOLE 30, whole 30. Is that how they do it?
Hole in your gut 30. Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about some stuff. Some stuff because people are saying things and other people are saying things. And some people be acting a fool. You know, we're going to talk about pastors.
We're going to talk about women?
We're going to talk about women. We like the ladies. We like women. Women are cool.
Yep.
We're going to talk about polemics.
Oh. What about purity?
We're going to talk about purity in our speech. And I know before y'all start judging,
here we go.
Start judging. We're not holding ourselves up as the role model for purity in speech. I mean, I am. Jimmy can't, obviously.
Wait, what? Why?
You
why
always
is it
are
me?
having to apologize for the things you say. Exactly.
Now, who was the last person to apologize?
You.
No.
Yeah. You always have to apologize for stuff that you say.
You were the last one to apologize. Maybe not. Okay. No, not on the podcast. I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
I got all Geneva Commons on some of the elders. We were in an elders meeting.
And so for all of you that think that like I just go along with whatever Joe says,
nobody goes along with it.
And I just
nobody cares about this story. This is
you know what? This is a great story because I confronted you.
Okay, so we're having an elders meeting. All the elders are there. Elder candidates are there, and we're talking about things.
Just in general.
So I go off on a side thing.
Yeah,
half humorous, and another elder says, "Oh, really?" And I was half serious, half joking, right? And he takes issue with my half serious part. He's like, really? Well, what about this? And I'm like, yeah. And
like, really
sort of dismissed it. I dismissed it.
Yeah,
and he's like, no. You said. And then I'm like, oh, you want to talk about it then? All right, we'll talk about it then. And then I start, saying things. And then I look over at Jimmy for his knowing nod. And instead, I got the knowing head shake. And he goes, nah, dude. Yeah, you were pretty dismissive. And you did say that. And then
I look over at the other guy. I'm like, yeah, I understand your point.
And then you said something like, yeah, you kind of went, whatever. And I'm like, no, I didn't cross the line or something like that. And then Pastor Brian's like, so where is the line? And I said, well, wherever I put that line, that's where the line is, obviously. And then before, Brian's like, any new business? And I'm like, yeah. I guess I need to apologize for being a total jerk. I was a jerk there. Rob, will you forgive me? Oh, Rob was the elder.
Yeah. Now that you outed it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
See, that's our meetings, guys. We're able to confront, have a conversation, and move on.
You know what I don't do is I don't write an open letter and double down.
That would be really GC of you.
I know. There's PC culture and there's GC culture, and both are pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I don't like either. Nobody knows what we're talking about. All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about this whole situation that's going on. It's getting a lot of attention right now between something called the Genevan Commons and Aimee Byrd and all of this stuff. So
who's Aimee Byrd? But for Steve McCoy,
he would not know.
He does not know.
Doesn't read women's stuff. He doesn't like women.
Anytime a woman is walking in front of him, he has to overtake her and get in front because he must lead.
And he is a fast walker anyways. It's miserable going with him. All right. Well, if you don't know who Aimee Byrd is, and by the way, we don't know Aimee Byrd personally, and we have not read her books. So just kind of a heads up. I don't have any problem with Aimee Byrd as far as I know, except the way she spells her name. Don't even try and Google her name because you won't know how to spell Amy. Your name is a little whack. I don't know how to spell it.
Whoa.
So it looks. Yeah. Anyways, Aimee Byrd is a Christian wife, mother, author, speaker. She's written a bunch of books, right? She's written
Recovering from Biblical Manhood and Womanhood, Housewife Theologian. Why can't we be friends?
Why can't we be friends?
Avoidance is not purity. No Little Women, equipping all women in the household of God. And Theological Fitness, why we need a fighting faith.
All right, good titles. Obviously, that first one is where a lot of this issue is from recovering from biblical manhood and womanhood. If it's biblical, why would you need to recover from it? So that's some of what's going on here. She's a member of an OPC church. And
you know me.
I'm talking with OPC. A lot of good guys and gals there. And she was the co-host of one of the few Christian podcasts that I listened to, or at least used to listen to. She was a co-host of the Mortification of Spin with Carl Truman and another dude I don't know.
Okay.
And that was like, I don't listen to a lot of Christian podcasts because they're terrible. They're not funny, or derivative or informative or whatever they are. I just not into it. But that was a good one because Carl is always interesting to me. And having Aimee on there just added a total cool flavor, very different thing.
Dynamic.
You know, layperson, woman, smart. It was funny and cool, and I enjoyed much of it. Even when I disagreed with them on occasion, I thought that was really good. And she was, of course, asked to step away from that because of, I'm guessing because of this controversy. She's no longer there. So I ain't listening, guys. Sorry. I'm not hating, but just you lost a little some of the fun for me. But anywho.
Oh, it was recent that she stepped down? I don't listen to the podcast, so I don't know.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so.
No, you do.
I do.
Some of us have JOBs.
Yeah.
And so we don't have that opportunity.
I got the JOE Rogan podcast that I listened to most recently with Colion Noir. That was pretty good. So, Jimmy, talk about this website called the Daily Genevan.
Yeah, so it is a website that publishes, quote, original content in quotations from Reformed classics to promote godliness in doctrine and life to the glory of Christ. End quote. That's good.
All right.
I like that.
We can get behind that.
Yeah.
We like a lot of the Reformed websites.
I would like a website like that.
All right. And it says in terms of like who is, making up that website. And this is different from the Genevan Commons, which is a Facebook group.
So for the Daily Genevan, it's a collaborative effort of church men committed to biblical, Catholic, Reformed theology, so small c, universal, Reformed theology and practice. We are brothers and colleagues in the promotion of a holy cause and welcome your contributions, encouragements, and critiques.
Oh.
Very open.
Okay.
Now, they also, though, have a private Facebook group, right? It's associated with the Daily Genevan.
Now, you guys know how much we love Facebook groups. We love them so much that we have 3 just for doctrine and devotion. No, we don't. We basically...
I remember early on we talked about, like, should we start a group? And we were like, nah.
All we had to do was think about a half second about the Reformed Pubs Facebook group.
Oh, low blow, Joe. Low.
I don't know. That's a low blow.
It's so easy to come at our group and you're not there.
Yeah, there's a reason we're not there. There's some great people there, but there's just too much ickiness. So we just don't like most of those groups. And if we ever do, and we've talked about launching one. If we did, it would be for members. And so in that sense, it would be closed. We don't have a problem with a closed group. That's fine. A private group, those are oftentimes
That's fine.
Great.
And a lot of groups, right? Here's the unfortunate aspect about groups, right? Especially Facebook groups. Well, I guess any group. A lot of the good is going to get lost.
Yeah.
With the bad that's amplified, right?
Oh, right. Yeah,
so
totally.
whether or not it's the Reformed Pub or Genevan Commons, right?
There's a lot of good in there.
There's a lot of good, I'm sure, right? Like, and we've seen the good in Reformed Pub.
Of course.
We joke around about a lot of the things with them, but we see a lot of the good within there. And so, unfortunately, though, when things like this are amplified, it gets overgeneralized. Like the whole group itself is somehow horrible. Right. And that's not what we're saying here.
No.
But we are saying that there has been some criticism that's been leveled against some of the speech.
Yep, speech, comments.
Behind that group. So
yeah, and it's specifically targeting Aimee Byrd and in her book and whatnot. So people have been sharing screenshots with her about the things that they've been saying, and so she has shared some of those without, I think, posting any names or anything, saying, I've heard this being said about me and that, and it sounded pretty ugly. Well, along comes a new website called Genevan Commons Screenshots. And this is the funny part of the internet, or the disturbing part of the internet, however you want to look at it. This is a website made up of screenshots of some of the things that have been said in the Genevan Commons.
So why though do they feel the need to create, or this individual, whoever did it,
not Aimee,
to create a website dedicated to that?
Because some of the people, I think even some of the people that were previously in the Genevan Commons, believe that the words and the discussion there amounted to a blatant breach of the 9th Commandment.
Okay.
Perhaps even challenging some of the members of that Facebook group, Fitness for Ministry. As I've perused some of them, seem to be some modestly racist comments, or at least certainly racially insensitive jokes as well. But in particular, their words against...
What's the difference between modestly racist?
Yeah, I don't feel like, oh, this is just racist. I'm like, okay, yeah. But what I'm saying is like sometimes racist things are subtle and sometimes they are overt.
There you go. Were you about to come at me? Were you about to GC
No,
me?
you want to go? You want to talk about it now? I'm not apologizing this time, Jimmy. All right. But here's the sticking point here is that there are a number of comments there about Aimee Byrd personally, not just her writing, but her personally, and they were very, very ugly. So, and not just her. I mean, other people, Karen Swallow Pryor, and other women as well, that wound up being collateral damage in the pooling of sort of a toxicity in that group, as far as I can tell, as an outsider reading those screenshots.
And I mean, here's the thing. I mean, like, for me, the whole issue in this is how personal the attacks are against her or against these women. You could disagree with someone's writing. We disagree with people's writing, and I think that's fine. That's okay to critique someone's writing, especially when you disagree with them. And honestly, based on kind of some of the things I've seen, not from this group, but from others, critiques of some writings that are out there, I think there's probably some alignment that I would have, but I'm not willing to fall on that judgment yet until I've read it for myself, right? But so I have no problem with the critiquing her writing. They should, and we're actually gonna read her book. We're gonna read her book. We'll critique it ourselves. But the personal attacks, that's the issue here.
Like, look, who's Daryl Daisy, whatever, he's got the Soteriology 101.
Who?
Founder
Flowers, Dr. Leighton Flowers.
Leighton is such a weird word.
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. It's Leighton Flowers. So we joke around. He jokes around with us. We completely disagree with each other over some rather important doctrines. I'm not mad at him. No, I'm not hating him.
It's not a personal.
I think he misrepresents Calvinism. He thinks we represent an errant theology. Okay, but you know what? We could actually chill with him though. And
he's joked around with us, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. We don't take his jokes as, oh, he's coming at me. No. But there's the difference, though. There was no ill intent behind his joking with us or our joking with him. But here, the personal nature of this joking, quote unquote,
it's gross, man.
Yes,
it's gross. And so some people might take issue with this, but I think Jimmy and I are. I'll speak for Jimmy. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Jimmy and I
wrong.
Again, Jimmy and I believe that as men, as Christians, as men, as pastors, we're called by God to defend people, and to defend people who are maligned. So if we have knowledge of something that about a person maybe who is being spoken of unfairly, if it's racism, if it is somebody saying something that isn't true about cops or whatever it is, we're gonna go ahead and say what we believe the truth is. And so specifically, yes, I think the idea of somebody attacking a person and men in particular attacking a woman's character really rubs us the wrong way. So what we're not going to talk about here, we're not going to get into Aimee's book, and we're not sidestepping that.
I've not read the book.
I'm reading not Toxic Habits, Atomic Habits. So I got to finish that, and then next week we are going to read Aimee's book. So we're going to get into that. We're not even going to get into the specific theological controversies. Again, we'll deal with that stuff later. Today, we want to focus on the words and the conduct of Christians and ministers in particular. And this is important to us and relevant to us because we tend to speak rather freely and in an exaggerated way oftentimes for the sake of humor.
Oh, no, yeah. So you went to the website.
Yeah, I spent some time on the Genevan Commons screenshots. Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of those I don't want to say on the air.
No.
Even this one.
We'll share one just to give you a sample.
But even then, I don't like saying this one, just so you know.
Do you want me to say it?
I'm going to let you say it because I really don't want to say this.
All right. So, in reference to Miss Byrd, he calls her Horseface. Horseface is mean. She's a whore. That's what she is. 13 thumbs up, hearts, and laughy faces.
Fofo mistake.
And then, except Papa Jimmy just said his name. Okay, that's the guy. And then,
I can't say that.
You can say whatever you want.
All right.
It's out there.
Did I just dox them? Is that what's called doxing?
Oh, everybody's talking about being doxed because their name was shared. That's not doxing.
Did I dox him?
No, you didn't dox him. If you give his phone number and address, then yeah.
312. No.
And then somebody else says maybe
Fofo's second mistake.
Okay, he says maybe that's what Trump meant and forgot the W, so I'm not sure. Horse face, spelled like whore, but horse face. So, okay. And everyone, so I scrolled through a lot of the context of these because you can get the larger context of those threads if you start digging into that website. And I saw one or two on different posts, people saying, hey guys, this crosses the line.
Yeah.
Glad to see that. But I really did not see any significant correction, rebuke, or anything. And this is just a sample. There are a lot of ugly things that are said, not about ideas. And of course, there are things, they are taking her to task for what her ideas are, or at least what they think they are. But what we're concerned with are these ungodly personal attacks that are so thoroughly unchristian.
Now, Joe, I mean, all right, people make mistakes.
Yep.
People make mistakes. They go too far.
Yep.
We've done the same.
You
right?
have, yes.
You
have definitely done that a few times on the podcast.
I have done
We
the
have
same.
done it. It's a collective we. It's our podcast.
Corrective. All right, yeah. So in the midst of those, though, we acknowledge, confess, repent.
Yeah.
Now, on June 23rd, over at, what is this? The Daily Genevan, they posted a letter, an open letter.
Okay.
In response to the open letter that some other people, so we got open letter.
Okay, so there was an open letter written by OPC pastors, it's Orthodox Presbyterian Church. Orthodox Presbyterian Church pastors and teachers signed their name to an open letter saying,
yo, we don't like what we saw
this
here.
Is ungodly.
This is not right.
What we've seen of these screenshots, yes.
So
they have an open letter back to them.
It's Reverend Michael Spangler, teacher, Providence Church, OPC, Greensboro, North Carolina. So you can read his letter on there, this open letter, but there's a couple parts here. You would think that one would just acknowledge, confess, and repent, and just, hey, you're right, my bad. This is not called for.
At the very least, they could say, hey, you know what? Things got out of hand in that group. There were some ugly things that were said.
Now we're going to deal with it. Okay. I can't read the whole thing, but I'm just going to hit a couple of the main points. I tell you plainly and sincerely, despite your best intentions, he's talking to the people that wrote the open letter, and desires to promote righteousness, you have been deceived as to the nature of the group. So you're wrong. You've been deceived. And then he goes through first 3 important facts about a group that you have ignored, and he goes through some facts there. And then as to your 4 concerns, number 1, goes through a whole thing here about, Byrd and Miller are members of our church is immaterial, but he ends that with putting aside the contradiction that your letter was published on the personal blog of an author of such books that they find heretical, insofar as in it you seek to disarm us of the verbal weapons with which we make our attack, or at least imply that the book's errors are not so serious as to warrant our sharp speech. You are indeed protecting those books and their harmful teaching. We beg you, therefore, for less carping about our style and method and more engagement with the substance of our critiques.
Okay, so they've completely ignored the actual charge.
I wrote here deflecting. I wrote in my note there, that's deflecting. I know that.
Yeah, we've done that.
I recognize that in me.
Deflect, block, building kick.
Number 2, the appeal to ordination vows is a red herring.
Ordination vows?
Ordination vows. Sorry. In the middle of that paragraph, that section, the propriety of private conversation is proven by this whole debacle. Words which in private context are appropriate and godly, out of context are likely to appear otherwise to the uninitiated observer. So what part of whore was appropriate and godly? Yeah.
Well, I think the only time that you can refer to anyone as a whore is if you are quoting scripture that might use that language. You can do that, right? You can't really... especially for KJV.
Yep.
Like that's a word in there. So you could do that, but to refer to somebody who isn't that as that is all kinds of sin.
Well, would
All
it help
kinds
you to
of it.
believe, right after this, they say, so privacy actually helps us to keep our reputation, which is a duty of the ninth commandment. And the men or men who broke privacy by publicizing closed conversations among friends boldly broke that commandment.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the privacy thing. Because like we've made this argument before.
Yeah.
That different contexts and environments allow for different kinds of language and conversations. Of course. What you say to your wife when it's just you and your wife, maybe up in the magic room, that's totally appropriate to say stuff there that you would say there that you're not going to say to another woman or to another person.
Yep.
Or you might not even, you shouldn't be sharing those details out in public or with other people. So yes, there are different, like a comedian oftentimes is going to say a lot of things that would be on initial first blush sort of offensive, but you understand that they are intentionally crossing the line in order to get people to laugh, not because they have ill intent or because they actually even agree with what they're saying as much as they're trying to provoke a response. This is what these guys are essentially saying, at least what it sounds to me like they're saying in that open letter is like, hey, this is a private group. Well, it's a private group, but it's a mix of men and women. It's a rather large gathering in which you are slandering a person.
Yeah.
Not taking to task their ideas. I mean, listen, there's a few times that they said, this girl ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and say it. First of all...
Oh, Jen, cover your ears. Jen, cover your
Jen
ears.
knows.
Jen, cover your ears.
Aimee Byrd is a lot of things, but ugly ain't one of them. So I don't even know where they're saying that. Second of all, it's just ironic coming from the dudes that are right that they would call somebody else ugly. Come on, man. Like you just got. I'm self-aware enough to know. Here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't look at a guy who has a gut and go, that guy totally has a gut. How disgusting. Because I have man boobs and a gut. You know what I mean? I'm a little too self-aware for that. Okay. So the things that they were saying in private that they somehow assumed would never get out.
Yeah.
Is not only coming back to bite them, but it's showing that their reputation is essentially covered not by good character, but by a lock or a password on a closed group. You can't say those things. You can't say the things that you said. Listen, Jimmy and I say the most horrible things to each other.
Whoa, come on. Settle down. Settle down.
Oh, really, Jimmy?
Oh, no.
Would you disagree? I'm not going to share. Would you disagree with this statement that Jimmy has said things to me
No.
that would make other grown men cry?
I do not disagree.
Okay. So, and I have said things to you
that I've cried at, yes.
That are so hard. Yeah, because you're like a little baby.
You made me cry.
But the difference here is that when we say something, quote, mean to each other, it's actually driven by fun, love, and humor, and we don't actually mean it in any way. Now, I guess they could say, well, I don't really mean these things that I'm saying about this person, but you're not saying it to them.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yep.
And don't even get me started. These guys talking the way that they talk. I love guys that are like they're super edgy when they're in their closed little group. But you ain't gonna say that to her in front of her husband. I challenge you. I dare you. Please say those things in front of her husband, or just in front of me for that matter. Please. I would love to see how that goes down. That would be awesome. That would be so fun. But again, they got the cover of their little clubhouse. They got their little fort built and little flashlights in there, and they're doing their thing, and they think nobody can hear us. But mom and dad are right outside going, "We hear all of this. We see what you're doing, and you're going to get in trouble for it."
Number 3.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Calling our speech misogynistic begs the question. It might be fair to call some of It might be fair to call some of screenshotted comments off color, some immature, some silly, some just unnecessary.
Not wrong, not sinful. Huh. Okay.
But in context, most of them I read were actually unobjectable, even if I could not have said them all myself.
Okay. I just don't even know. Here's the thing. Now, I don't know who that guy is, but pastors in the church, leaders, parents, you have to make judgment calls, and you have to be able to diagnose when things are crossing the line, when things are right or wrong. I'm at a loss as to how this guy could say, well, the ones that I've seen, as if he hasn't seen the worst ones, right? Especially now that they've all been put out there.
My impression is this individual has been in the group for some time, knows one of the administrators really well, actually knows a few people in the group really well, and actively participates. Now, he does make the argument, and I'm not going to deny the argument, that he's grown a lot from the group, that there has been edifying conversation.
Sure, of course.
Great. So I think what the impression I got was, don't judge the entire group and don't rebuke the whole group based on this kind of a thing. Like that's the impression I got.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm willing to say,
I'm going to say more. So you go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I'm trying to find the right word.
Soft shoe it. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say limited. But I don't know how limited it is. See, I don't know. I can only take what they say, that there's a limited number of screenshots, that it wasn't like, every single conversation was going down this way.
That's not even the point.
Yeah.
I think the point is that clearly ungodly, unchristian things are being said in that group with little to no rebuke, refutation, and apology.
Yes.
And
which gets to number 4.
Okay.
Yes, we agree. Quote, undue silence is a just cause. Undue silence in a just cause, end quote, is a sin. That is why we have not been silent against Byrd, Miller, and others who support them. So that's a good deflection there. Yeah. It is why we will not be pressured into silence by your letter. And furthermore, it is why I am compelled to write this letter to you. Despite your good intentions, your rebuke is unjust and ill-considered and ought to be retracted.
Yeah. How many?
I call that the double down.
That's a double down. How many times in a man's life do you think he is likely to be publicly rebuked and there be nothing to it? I mean, how often? I don't know. I don't know how often that is. I'm sure it happens.
I'm sure it does. It's got to.
But when that large number of ministers of your denomination are saying, "Hey, man, think you're off here. You should really soberly consider it." Now, maybe he has soberly considered it and just totally disagrees. But, it's interesting because one of our friends, Chris Caughey, a few days ago, he had a tweet on this stuff. And he said, I privately confronted an OPC minister who is a member of the Genevan Commons because of the horrible things he had said and abided from others in that Facebook group. Instead of being repentant and grieved by his sin, he was outraged that someone had taken screenshots. For shame.
Yeah.
You got caught. Y'all got caught. Now listen, we all know what it's like to get caught. And it's good and it's bad, right? It hurts, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. But then you got to deal with it and move on.
You gotta own it. And there's an opportunity here to actually, instead of it just being a circle of like-minded people that aren't changing anybody's mind, but they're just venting on Aimee Byrd's book and her personally, you could actually begin to open up that group or say things a bit more publicly that would be more constructive, hopefully, than the kind of things that they're actually doing. One of the things that they talk about, one of the people that have a problem with the Genevan Commons, is that they're saying that this is a breach of the 9th Commandment.
Yeah.
And of course, he invoked that as well. We're going to go ahead, since we're talking about Presbyterians, it's nice to not talk about Baptist stuff for a change. There's so many weird, messed up things in the Southern Baptist Convention. It's nice to discuss something that's messed up in another gathering of Christians.
Feels good.
So we'll just deal with the Westminster Larger Catechism.
All right.
Okay, on the 9th Commandment. Because when they say good stuff, Baptists just steal it anyways. So we'll just go with that. How about question and answer 144?
All right. 144. What are the duties required in the 9th Commandment? Should I read all of it? Here we go. The duties required in the 9th
Why did you ask and then just say, here we go? Is that how you roll? Don't treat me like I'm a woman, dude. Okay? You can't just just do that. Oh, wait. Oh, this is in private? Okay. Oh, never mind. I didn't say that.
So, I didn't know if you want me just to read the bold or
Read whatever you want to
here we
read,
go.
man.
The duties required.
I'm joking.
I know you are. The duties required in the Ninth Commandment are the preserving and promoting of truth between man, and the good name of our neighbor, as well as our own, appearing and standing for the truth, and from the heart, sincerely, freely, clearly, and fully, speaking the truth, and only the truth, in matters of judgment and justice, and in all other things whatsoever, a charitable esteem of our neighbors, loving, desiring, and rejoicing in their good name.
That's good. It goes on, but like you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Ninth Commandment is just not about not lying. It's about loving your neighbor with the way that you talk to them and about them. Question 145 is, what are the sins forbidden in the Ninth Commandment? And I'm just going to read a couple of things here. The sins forbidden in the Ninth Commandment are all prejudicing the truth and the good name of our neighbors, as well as our own, especially in public judicature, giving false evidence, suborning false witness. Later on, lying, slandering, backbiting, detracting, tale-bearing, whispering, scoffing, reviling, rash, harsh, and partial censuring, misconstructing intentions, words, and actions, flattering, vainglorious boasting, thinking or speaking too highly or too meanly of ourselves or others. That's some good stuff.
That is some good stuff.
You know, I mean,
no wonder we stole it.
Presbyterians, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, in heaven, we were all hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people are going to be like, hey, thank you for sharing the gospel with me. You know, God used that to lead me to the Lord. All the Baptists are going to be going to Presbyterians going, hey, man, thanks for laying out the blueprint for us.
Thank you.
Because, yeah, we really appreciate it. Appreciate you, bros.
Appreciate you with the first draft.
Yeah.
And then we brought the final version.
Yeah. We had to edit that stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Redact. Didn't just react, we redact. So let's just talk about this in a general sense. All
right.
We have theological opponents.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like Dandy Daisies and all those guys. Whatever. I know Leighton Flower's name. I'm just joking. What I love is like, it's not, he'll probably do like a response to this. Like he'll do responses to our podcast when we talk about some of the doctrines and stuff. Maybe he'll just do that and it'll be nothing but a response, but making fun of our names. I'd be down for that.
I'd be down.
I'd listen to that. All right. How should we talk about our theological opponents? Not to them. We obviously should be talking to them, and this would be the same thing. But, you know, when we're talking about people that we have a real problem with, and listen, there's tons of room for us to grow in this as well. I know that I have been mean-spirited towards people like Stephen Furtick, and I'll make fun of him. You know, it's kind of hard to I can't make fun of the way he looks because he's ripped. He's like all jacked up. I'm not saying it's because he's on the juice. I'm just saying.
No one brought that up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying, but I've brought it up.
Not one person in this room.
Yeah.
Gave you the impression that we were thinking that he was juicing. Why did you assume that?
No, I'm not assuming anything.
Then why did you bring it up?
I'm just saying it's not.
I just don't know why you volunteered. I just don't know why you volunteered that information.
He's not on human growth hormones. He's not. See, this is a joke, guys. The guy's in great shape, and he's an amazing communicator. But we do
when he communicates, I don't disagree. I'm sorry, I don't agree with.
Yeah,
but you know, he communicates it.
He is
very well.
He is a gifted communicator. Now, we disagree with his doctrines and his message a lot, and so we have at times joked around and definitely crossed the line. You know, with some of our humor, I don't think we've ever been super mean, but we've definitely made jokes at his expense that were less than charitable. So we all have room to grow here. We're not saying that we do this right, but if we are going to talk about our theological opponents, especially in any substantive way, we need to keep a few things in mind. I would say we need to focus on the ideas and the doctrines or the practices of those individuals and not the person or personality itself. Fair enough?
I think that's absolutely fair. Along with that, we should strive to understand them, right? Understand their points, understand their viewpoint, understand where they're coming from,
right?
So that, and essentially understand their argument so that we're not misrepresenting what it is they're trying to say.
I would hope that I could make a winsome argument on my opponent's behalf if I had to, even though I disagree with it, because I so understand it. If I'm that jazzed about where they're coming from, then I want to be able to say, well, here's what they think, and here's why they think it, and here's where they're coming from, and here's their argument. To the best of my ability, I want to be able to represent them well. And so understanding your opponent is critical, because if you don't, then your arguments are at best imbalanced and incomplete, or at worst completely unfounded, because you're not dealing with what they mean or even what they have properly said, but you've misconstrued it. So I think that's really important to be understanding that. And this goes with the whole idea of charity, right? Giving them the benefit of the doubt, especially if you're not sure. Well, it's like, and I've heard this a lot, like the most of the critiques, and I've only read a few of the critiques about Aimee Byrd's new book, is a lot of what she didn't say. It's like, well, she didn't say this, and she didn't say this, and she didn't establish. And it's like, well, okay, so how about what she did say? I mean, those are fair questions to bring up. I'd like her to elaborate on these things, but let's focus with the emphasis. And as far as it looks to me in what I've seen from the book, is she's not taking to task complementarianism, though that word is, going to become useless at some point probably, because of the various ways in which it's used. But she has a problem with a particular form of complementarianism, and that's what she seems to be talking about. We'll find out when we read the book. But if you're not sure, man, give people the benefit of the doubt. Assume the best of them. That's a part of keeping the 9th commandment. Well, what about the Bible? Like when we're looking at Scripture, and it calling us to use our words wisely, and it does. What are some passages that you think apply here and apply to us as men and to everybody who's listening?
I mean, Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear.
So you're saying they just can't like tear down an idea. You're saying
no.
Only build up
as fits the occasion.
Yeah. So they can't say anything hard.
Well, what are you talking about though? We said you can go ahead and go attack the idea, not the person.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So are you building that person up though when you're tearing down their ideas, Jimmy?
Absolutely. You're helping them grow in their faith.
Hopefully, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love Psalm 141:3. Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. You know why the psalmist says that? Because like James knows, and we all know, it is incredibly difficult to master the tongue, to not say things. And I'm not just talking about swear words. I just mean like Jimmy's licking his lips in a very weird way, because I said control the tongue.
No, the cigar.
What about the cigar?
It was leaving a taste on it.
Well, you were licking it rather dramatically, so I think okay. So here's the thing. We are prone to misspeak, whether that's through boasting and bragging or complaining, whether that's through being overly harsh or just being uncontrolled. There's so many different ways in which we go wrong with our lips. We need to pray that God would help us keep it under control. That's why in Psalm 19, verse 14, it says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. And so, yes, that means we're going to say hard things, we're going to say soft things, but in everything that we say, we want them to be acceptable to God. And sometimes we think that God is on our side because we are attacking an idea, at least in our minds, that we think is so dangerous. And we know what God's word says. We think, oh, so God's on my side. And so my passionate and destructive language is okay regardless of its consequences. Not fair.
Proverbs 21:23. Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble.
Hey there. Relevant.
So maybe, slow down.
Slow your roll.
Think it through. Maybe figure out another way to articulate your point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Twitter has drafts.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why.
But they should have an edit feature.
I wish they did. Yes. Yeah.
It's really annoying. Every time I misspell something, everybody has to come out and miss the point of what I'm trying to say, like in every text thread with the elders. Can't just go with my point. I got to go with my typo.
You know why that is, though? Because you would sit there and call all of us out.
No.
You would.
No.
For
No.
mistype or not being clear.
Not being clear. That's different.
No. But you came all at us for mistyping
Not
and everything.
not a typo.
Yes.
Nope.
Oh, yes.
Nope.
You were the king.
I am Mr. Generosity
No, you were
when
not.
it comes to typos.
So when you gave up typing full time and decided to do voice to text,
By
that's
the way,
what's going to happen.
All those things recently, I've been typing.
So even then, you're making mistakes.
Yeah, well, because I have to look at the keys. I can't look at the screen and type because I can't type in.
But then you could still read what you wrote before you hit enter, right?
No, I can't because I hit enter first.
But
see, that's what I can't.
What you should do though is you should read,
right,
adjust, and then hit enter.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
The rest of us do it.
Yeah, you guys can look at the screen and type. They're all fancy. I can't do that. I gotta pick it out with 2 fingers.
Oh, it's so funny watching Joe type.
Yeah, every book I've written, it's my left index finger and my right index finger and my thumb. That's how I do. That's why my books are so short.
You know what I love though is that you had to hold those fingers up and look at your fingers while you're describing them.
Because I don't know it's my left hand if I don't hold up my finger and my thumb and it makes an L. That's how I know it's my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's and then the other one. Well, that's an L.
But you could have just said,
yeah, that's weird.
Well, it's an L to me.
Oh.
Like you could have just said my left index finger, my right because there's what's the other option? What other index finger?
I might have said it backwards though. I could have said right and then left, and then I would have been wrong.
How so?
This is what I deal with. I just can't even do my own thing. Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 8:13, this is a lot of people know this. The fear of the Lord is the hatred of evil, pride and arrogance, and the way of evil and perverted speech I hate. Man, I regret the things that I say that are wrong, and not always when I'm saying them. Not even after Jimmy gives me the head shake and says some things. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for me to go, oh yeah, I was a total jerk right there. That was wrong. It was sinful. I better ask for forgiveness on that.
Mm-hmm. Bring it up in new business.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, he's got some new business here, right? Well, here's some new business. In case you didn't notice, I was a tool about 20 minutes ago.
Every once in a while, one of us has to, at the meeting, go, I want to bring up some old business.
Yeah.
The last meeting, I was a jerk at.
That has happened too. That not me.
Nope. That was me.
Yep. Well, not just you. Other people. There's another pastor that's done.
I'm only going
to. I'm talking about the other.
I'm
I don't say who it was.
I'm only going to talk about myself.
You know who doesn't have to do that?
Kevin.
Jeff.
Brian.
Brian.
Chris.
Yep. Chris.
Rob.
Never. Yep. Nope.
It's
all
only
fine.
Yeah, it's only
there's
you.
Three, there's 3 of us.
It's 3 paid ones.
Great. Now there's going to be a
reckoning.
There's going to be a website just about our elders meetings. Somebody's going to leak it. We're going to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm sure there are some awesome people associated with the Genevan Commons. We're not hating on them.
Yep.
We're not hating on it. We are seriously disturbed by some of the comments that were made there about a person made in God's image who is your sister in Christ. Like, man. So we're going to read her book. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Expect that next week. I'll be ready.
Oh, next week?
Yeah.
How, we haven't even ordered the book.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll be here tomorrow.
How big can it be? It was written by a woman.
Joey.
See? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Joey. Yeah, and let's talk about your booklets.
Okay.
Your pamphlets.
Her books dwarf my little baby booklets. And she's probably a better writer too. So, yeah, we're gonna check it out, and we're gonna link to all these things that we've been talking about here in the show notes, so you can check those out for yourself. Be sure to let us know if you think that we are wrong or awful or terrible, because even though we don't care, it's important for you to get that out of your system. We don't want that building up those levels.
And then that way we can go ahead and take a cue from the GC and do an open letter response, doubling down.
You know what? We need to pen an open letter response to all of the negative reviews we get on iTunes. That would be so awesome.
That would be
Can we
amazing.
work on that?
Let's work on that.
Okay.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Diva, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, drdevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast. You can go to the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear.
In case you don't know, it's JOFO. That's how you spell Jofo. Jofostore.com. Pretty easy, right?
Fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. Blog post on Wednesdays. Later.
You know what?
What?
We're gonna we are gonna play 2 Truths and a Lie. We're gonna play that.
All right.
On air. We're gonna play that on air.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't have time to do it.
Yep. Neither did I. All right. Later.